in last week.
Definitely. So we shall see how they're able to perform here on Miramar. Likewise, all the other teams that have been able to perform extremely well on Miramar as well. Now it's their opportunity. Now is their chance to be able to rack up some points. If you're unable to do that well on Erangel, you can come to the desert for all the points you need. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, as it is time now to go over to our commentary team. Sims and D-Man, take it away. Give me the plane. What's going on? Tell me now.
I think we need to take the medication away from him. I think he's gone too far.
The further we get into this week, the deeper in the rabbit hole James is falling.
It's just getting down there. We'll see how it works out for him. But anyway, there is the plane, mate. That's where we're going. We're going over El Pozo.
What was that?
I don't know.
That's very exciting.
It was very exciting.
I mean, it is a good playing path. It gives everyone their home position. You shouldn't have too many early engagements. Again, this all comes down to Miramar. Miramar is all about the circle as opposed to the plane path. Yes, the plane path can dictate where you're going to be going because it's extremely hard to rotate throughout the terrain of this sandy map, but certainly this flight path will make life a little bit easier to kick off the game. What the circle does, though, it's a completely and utterly different question.
I'm just seeing if there's anyone going to make any adjustments. Na'Vi into their standard spot. ENCE very spread out, kind of tracking G2's up position up to El Zahar. Squeaky just seeing how far they can go.
Just really quickly, I'm going to say it now. If Jokers are going to get a win, it's this map they're going to do it on.
Yeah.
They absolutely love it.
They
it's
do
just
very well
open freedom, right?
I mean, a team that absolutely loves Miramar is TSM. They've had 5 wins out of their 6 on Miramar.
All the wins seem to come around the same position, though. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Pretty much where they loot is where they win.
You saying they can't rotate?
I'm not saying they can't rotate. You know what? They fight for their wins. I'll give them that. They always come out with a tank load of kills.
Bad couple of games on Erangel that they just had, but there's James just getting picked up off the floor by his buddy. But it is going to be a north-western circle, centering.
Come on, Jokers. Jokers win.
Around where the Pittsburgh Knights are. But yeah, the Jokers, this is their backyard, right? They're going up into La Cabrera, but this is their backyard, this circle position. So they're going to have prime pick on where they want to be. But it's going to take them a while because they're only just 2 minutes in getting to their spot to loot.
Took the words out of my mouth. If there's any kind of negative to this, is the fact that it does take a while for them to get to that position. They have all the time in the world, though. That's the thing. There's no one within a good... I mean, look, there's...
Nobody's going to rotate that way.
No.
Yeah. Unless it's a wide swing, right? But even Raise Your Edge are still going way up in. They may be the only team that will challenge them up in the top, say. If you remember, ENCE actually do also take quite a lot of northern paths in and around that spot as well.
If they were going to run into anybody, it might be Raise Your Edge because they'll know where TSM always lingers. If they didn't, then they need to do their homework, to be honest with you. Raise Your Edge might come in around Waterworks. For the Jokers, they might go that way and maybe try and extend further into the circle. Probably maybe not, for the simple fact that Waterworks is more towards the eastern side than it is more central. But they could just take the hillside here. They could completely loot it up, get geared out of their mind, and then go to the hills and take up that strong position looking down upon the Knights and everybody else that wants to try and encroach in the center of the circle. FaZe is an interesting one. They have this main road where they could go forward, but they'd hit the Knights straight away. I wouldn't expect them to bother doing that. Obviously, they have their usual little town, Monte. Again, I think before we see major adjustments, they'll probably wait for the circle. It is one of those maps that people do like to go center, hunker down, and wait for the circle to come to them, so to speak.
It's got that horrible serpentine sort of pass in the middle, right? This big valley that's sort of split in the circle at the moment, sort of. It's going to decide whether you go east and west of it. Obviously, a lot of people are going to know that the Knights are already up and around the hillside around power stations. So, would have thought most people actually will avoid that area, sort of center point, or
TSM
go delicately into it.
Caught off guard yesterday because they rotated through it and didn't realise that NIP was still looting up. And again,
in
because
San Martin,
yeah. So they won't be doing that again, I wouldn't have thought. I love their little split, though. The Hacienda split's pretty cool. And it seems to be working out for them, to be honest with you. The circles have been up and around there, and they've got 4 to 5 wins out of it, so can't really argue. It's all going well and dandy. The
awkward rotation for me would be Vitality. I mean, because if they go north of TSM and NOP, if they go sort of south, I mean, they could skirt around Picardo, knowing that Team Liquid do move out of Picardo pretty early.
Winstrike and FaZe are actually on a rotation here. They're going to go for the edge farmlands, if we want to call it. Obviously, there's no set structural name to this, so we have to best describe them as they are, where they've pulled up as a hangar just above them to the north, and then a huge ridgeline that looks into an open field behind them.
You know something that Ibiza said to me, actually, earlier on today?
I'm glad you touched on them, Lee, because they're... I'm sorry to break you off here. You can continue through, but they might butt heads here with the Knights. They're both rotating into one another.
Oh, and he's actually Genty's caught Voxic in the back there as they just pull out of the power station. We're talking about knowing that they're there. Liquid are coming up saying, guys, it's 5 minutes. You should have rotated away from here by now. We're just going to give you a couple of love taps to send you on your way in your back. But yeah, going back to my point. Ibiza talking about this, and it's funny because I've said this in the past, right? I've said the players don't know the map. And I have taken a lot of criticism for it in the past from everyone. What do you mean these pro players? They play so many games, they all know the map. Ibiza literally said to me today, you know what? The problem in Miramar is we don't know all the prop spots. We don't know all the positions. We don't know where to go sometimes in certain plays because we've just not seen all the circles.
Just play pubs, forehead.
Well, that's what we said, to just play more, forehead. But yeah, I mean, literally, you know, Ibiza, who plays all day, every day, streaming, like games galore, and literally for him to say it, I thought it felt justified, a little bit of self-justification, but it's also to the point that we've made a lot of times throughout this map. You know, while it has been played competitively for, I guess, half a year now, I guess we could say, maybe a little bit more, I guess, if you go back to PGI and GLL Season 2.
I think it's more than fair to say that it's always had this stigma about it that it's not Erangel. I think it will always have that stigma.
I think it's not even that. It's the fact that it plays totally different. It's a different play style. Yeah. It's a totally different play style, and not just because it's, you know, brown and green. But it's just, you know,
rotating's different. Getting the vehicles is different. The loot's different.
The topography of the map is totally different.
And more importantly, this is an absolute marksman's paradise.
Yeah. Which is why we're seeing TSM do so well.
Yeah. We've seen one of the players from Jokers. Sorry, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Wookie Bucky. You've got all these guys. Even Fast Rail. The amount of time we see Fast Rail going huge on this, just you know, from the M24 kills.
ENCE with their big kill games on here. Yeah, we've seen a lot of teams benefiting from it. Anyone that's got a marksman. CrowCrowd, by the way, coming very close to M19 at the moment, who've gone for a 2-2 split. FaZe Clan, you can see here, they went for the, I wouldn't say it was a long rotate. They've just basically gone slightly north out of Monte Nuevo, but it works for them because it gets them in that center spot.
Sorry, it was Set. That was the other player.
Set from CrowCrowd, yeah.
Glad you mentioned that one. It looks like Jokers have actually pulled up on the hillside, which I mentioned earlier on, and they'll go for the long spread. They've just got to be really careful that, I think that's in the back lines. Winstrike, Nuki's overextended out of El Pozo just a bit too much, so they have to be careful they don't get caught off individually. All right, the refrags are a possibility, but
they're both going for the long spreads. They're both trying to do the same thing, and yeah, like you say, one of them might just individually bump into one another. That's spread that much that
strength in numbers.
A revive might not come back from it.
Even in the final circle, like taking, especially on Miramar, being able to take as many bodies into that final circle is so important.
NBS, we just saw him on the screen there taking shots. I think Gustav is actually sneaking upon him because he's taking the shots. CrowCrowd, well, we said they were close to them there. I think they were kind of comfortable in that warehouse, but CrowCrowd were caught napping. M19 came up out of the warehouse, up on the hill, and CrowCrowd were kind of mid-rotating nonchalantly out of there, just like resting on their laurels. We just got to win, boys. Oh, wait a minute, we're into another game and completely... just got completely caught out. I don't understand that because they were the ones that pulled up on the back of M19, yet they try and drive right past them.
At least they're feeling good.
Well, I hope so, because they should be feeling bad after that.
They lose one and they'll continue through.
Are we going to see a first to 16th? Are we going to see a first to 16th?
I'm saying no, because I kind of like their position where they are. It was, you know, I will say this, all right, it's one man down, but I'd rather one man go down in the vehicle than the entirety of the team rotating at once.
Oh, Vitality and ENCE.
Yoink.
Oh, that's a big yoink. Team Liquid are happy. They're going to move back down the hill. They're just like, all right, okay, fine. M19, by the way, that were in that warehouse is looking golden right now. That is a great spot. There is a compound just south of Team Liquid that they might try and move to. We're seeing Vitality here. They did have ENCE pretty close to them, but they were already in the vehicles and well on the way. Na'Vi, coming in late, are going to find themselves a pretty much center spot compound.
TSM have got to work for the money here. Not only do they have to rotate from the north and get inside a pretty dense circle, but they also have to be aware, and they might see them, to be fair, if they've got a good amount of range and view, that Raise Your Edge are going to be rotating pretty much perpendicular to them. They'll be both running parallel into the circle. Again, they're up against the blue, but it will pretty much funnel them into the circle. Picardo's free unless ENCE decide they want to take the backside of it.
Nippon Knights close to one another once again. They've clashed a couple of times.
It's a strong compound. If you can win a battle, it's a strong area to hold.
It is a massive one. I mean, it's Knights home, right? This is Knights' backyard.
It's also rather big, though. That's the
massive.
downside to it, if there was a downside to it.
But it does actually have space for the two to coexist. But it doesn't look like it's the case. Vard's going to back away. But where's he going? Because there's not a great deal of opportunities that way, other than a couple of ditches, which they've got to hope for. NBS, I think he just got tapped from CrowCrowd there.
I like what Gax has done. The readjustment's really nice. To hit the building, the hangar there, the fact that you can take the boxes and use those little windows as portholes, and it gives you full body coverage, all right. You're a bit of a bob in ducks, all you can see is the head, and we know the Knights can snipe. That's another team that loves to tap people's faces with the K9s and the M24, so he has to be very careful of that, but still a good reposition from Gaxi to take that long building and maybe give them a foothold.
You know, we were talking about Jokers, though. They don't need to worry about what's coming behind them. They've got G2 coming from behind them, who picked up a lot of their points. And I'm saying that because they've not picked up a lot of points this week, but they had a brilliant week last week. But a lot of their points came on Miramar again. And they are coming in right behind the Jokers. They must have took a big rotate, because you think they're sort of Impala way. So they've gone way up north, all across the top and back down. And I think Kemba is about to get a bit of a surprise. We're still seeing NIP, of course, there. They have the Knights next to one another. Winstrike and Digital Athletics kind of trading blows back and forward. Sixmo could be the surprise factor down low there.
I wonder if Digital Athletics pushes on to FaZe. There'd be no reason to do it, but it could be a mishap and a misstep from them if Sixmo gives the call and decides it's time to go. Winstrike will rotate behind them again. We're just turning you off this map view that we have. Reels holding the angle of the long barn. I'm okay with that. It stops any advancement around the side and any off angles being held by NIP players to stab the Knights in the side and then let Gaxi and Co open up from the main building inside them.
Good choice from Winstrike to disengage there. I think it was a wise choice. They didn't really have a great spot. They were on playing edge. They didn't really want that. Winstrike's a team that, you know, you're looking towards phase 3 and 4. They will just send it into center, and by that I mean they will just launch it in their vehicles and find a center spot. At the moment, they're finding themselves some open fields and open grounds down the south side. We'll see where they can get. Look at Navi's position. While I was talking about this, they came in late out the blue. And just went, oh, we're just going to keep on going towards the middle. It seems to be working for us. Team Liquid, though, who moved for that position, and, of course, alongside NIP and Pittsburgh Knights, who are still coexisting within the power grid, find themselves in a good spot.
For TSM flying it, they literally have to grab vehicles now and just go. Just bomb it before anyone else takes this position that is open in front of them. If not, they'll be playing off the back foot, and everybody else will just be playing border control. They have to get in this circle and do it now, because there is a ton of players alive for this circle.
And Winstrike moving back to the north. You can see them in the distance. Back we go to the hill we just left, and hope that they manage to find themselves a spot. They are getting shot at by FaZe.
It'd have been a really good position. If that circle had gone down south, that would have been a banging position.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they got the freedom because of the movement around there. Jokers and the G2 just trading a couple of shots back and forward. The crate's going to come on down. M19 and ENCE are pretty close to one another down the south side of just coming out of Picardo once there. And as you mentioned about TSM, they kind of need to make this move, but they've been a little slow, and CrowCrowd have done it for them, haven't they?
FaZe with a knock onto Noki. That's the Winstrike boys opposite. They were really trying to get into the barn, but have been kind of not necessarily held at gunpoint, but been held back by suppressing fire by two different teams. FaZe have the low ground, Digital Athletics have the high ground, and range as well. To be fair, everyone kind of has range because everyone has minis these days. I think
Ratio Edge trying to get around San Martin way. Now, because Michael and Co are taking shots down south, they're going to know that, okay, they're going to go for this road. They're going to come along San Martin road. So Gustav's trying to get ahead of the curve He's got one with him. They're trying to get to the edge of San Martin and try and catch them on the rotate. Now, they've just bumped straight into G2, though. Look how close and compact it's starting to get here, though. Look how Vard and Rios sharing space with one another.
I mean, provided Reels holds his nerve and doesn't get too... Oh, wait a minute.
This is a clash outside the circle. This is not going to be a positional clash. This is just a straight-up fight. M19, they're happy to stand and bang as ENCE come in. Squeaky and Mickhouse gets elite player flushed as Enoch tries to run for his life.
Poor communication there to lose a player like that. Should have been out in the open. Should have definitely known that two players were flooding behind him, or at least had some level of support.
And good from ENCE because they've spotted it, they've sat, they've scouted it, and M19, they'd sent 2 away. Wanderer and Constantine have gone away. It was a 2-2 split from M19, and they were just late rotating, late leaving.
And look for Not to try and kick him out of here and dominate. Look at how they move as a team. It's just a wave of Finland. There's no way you're fighting any of these battles individually. Round the corner, spots one, goes for the insta-flush, and now he's dead. Refrag comes through. Bye-bye.
It's going to be a little angry that they got reflushed, insta-flush there, but Raise Your Edge, we were talking about these. They were coming out of San Martin. They have gone into G2. TSM were trying to position for it, but realized G2 were too close, so didn't work out for them. It's going to be Raise Your Edge that looked like to me going to be falling first. Vitality have found TSM. That's on the eastern edge of the new circle that's come in. Again, power grid shrinking down there, which gives, of course, continue with NIP and Pittsburgh Knights. It's about to get a little crowded, though, on that ridgeline, I feel.
Raise Your Edge is down and dead and gone. They've removed off the server, and once again, their play style is their biggest enemy. They are their own victims here. They play slow, and they're always the last in the circle. I know they're called Raise Your Edge, but they've got to stop playing edge. They've got to get further into the circle and quicker. Every single time we see them dying like this, time and time again, it's always on the edge. Always.
No excuse this time because it was a northern circle, so you know they're up in that top side.
Got to speed it up.
Got to get moving a little bit quicker. FaZe Clan have made a little move. They've gone 2-2. They're actually very close to Dmash though. As TSM see the Vitality moving down closer to them. Gustav's down at the moment. He's going to get back on his feet. Wookie's going to have to join his team, try and blast across on the bike. Ibit's found Na'Vi as they've come in. Team Liquid actually pretty well spread at the moment. They've got to be careful they don't get sandwiched between the diamonds. And looks like Winstrike also sending it on their backs.
Vitality getting poked over in the corner, which will really slow them down, to be honest. They are inside the white, which is good. The nades from either side at the moment are not finding any targets whatsoever. They're just holding them back, but for Monkey
on the move.
Here's the aggression.
Gustav just got shot in the back that exact moment. I don't know what shot him, but I think it was G2 that engaged on him and forced him to turn around. M19 continuing to lose players. They're down to 1 now. You can see Constantine, the last man standing, as ENCE also getting shot down low by Na'Vi. They're trying to collect what they can as Rustamar gets dropped.
Starting knows where he is, so the information will be fed back. Dmash in the kill feed.
What a move from DA. I didn't spot that. How have they got into that center spot?
I think they were being creepy up that hill, and then as soon as they saw Liquid, they just kind of went for it and thought, right, okay.
Look at TSM now, trying to flank around Vitality.
This is the thing about Vitality. By poking them over there in the corner and by leaving them be, they've kind of held them back now, which has slowed down their game, and they have to play on the edge. Again, TSM slows them down, gets ahead of them, and now TSM has a line of sight onto them. There's the first knock from that power grid engagement. Kramer finally, he's had that sniper up front and personal for a long, long time. Miraku finally been knocked. They need to be aware, though, that they have these NIP members that are holding that banner area.
That's how DA got up. The path that Winstrike just took right there, but Red Diamonds are about to come over the ridgeline right on top of Winstrike. Team Liquid also nearby. Now you see TSM also getting caught out by the Knights as Red Diamonds look to try and look towards him. It's very, very compact and cozy on the western side of the circle. There goes M19. Not too surprised by that one to see them falling early. They had that split and it's kind of badly gone wrong for the Winstrike. Look at that. FaZe Clan, they're also wanting to get involved in this one. They're looking towards Winstrike on this hillside. That nade's good. Truthfully almost landing in. You can see it's split fights left, right, and center there. If we could have another screen as well, we'd have a third one coming in because TSM and CrowCrowd also engaging one another. It is carnage right now.
This all comes down to the circle. Been slow and steady. But if you're not willing to fight, you will not be winning the race. I'll give you an all on the circle. It's gone to the north. Bullets all over. Na'Vi dropping like flies. 2 down in the back line. Samty and Jempty, the brothers in arms, completely demolish the red diamonds off screen. And
Thriffily!
Oh my word, shows up out of nowhere and batters Na'Vi.
Thriffily gets the triple kill and nails down Na'Vi on the hillside. Back to Team Liquid and Winstrike. You can see they're fighting there. That grenade, I think, is going to finish off Jeems. It will be. Jorski catches him, but quickly return the favor from his Finnish brother-in-arms, Jempty. And now Nuki trying to creep away from them. Get that flank around. Tixu and Dimmy in the distance, as well as Team Liquid making the move. FaZe Clan, by the way, have managed to leapfrog this fight and get involved and push up the hillside, while CrowCrowd and Vitality fight in TSM. They were sitting on the edge. I think Gustav's the remaining member now. Yeah, you can just see him lying in the grass on the right.
Huge plays from Trefeli, picking up 3. Just like that, keeps them in the game, keeps them with 2 alive at least. But where do you really go with this? They might be able to mop up a few more kills, strengthening numbers. They will continue the push and be able to claim the body boxes. Ibi with a nade onto Tixu. Monkey goes down. Excuse me, Monkey takes out Outplays. Outplays go down. Excuse me. Dream for you, last man standing. And after a big win in the previous round, it's kind of all gone wrong in this one.
Yeah, they lost that one at the warehouse early, and it looks like that's going to be the end of CrowCrowd. Well. The set disappears. Tixu will get flushed out. Dimmy down low is going to get taken on as well. FaZe Clan still looking for something to get involved on the western side. Team Liquid will be the one they can find. Digital Athletics still sitting quite comfortably in the center at the moment, as the Knights now go hunting for frags along with Vitality.
The only thing I don't want to see happen is Kramer and Drayden get too overzealous and then leave NIP to do more damage to the Knights from behind. They're not out in the open as such, because there's hills and Defilage you can play on the back of, but they are individually split. They're not a full unit together.
Team Liquid were trying to creep around the back of FaZe Clan, but they just got spotted. I think Fuzzface took a couple of shots on them, and that hillside realized the danger. So you can see ENCE has took some damage as well, so he's down low. And they are just having to step away. The Knights have backed off from that play with Vitality. So it's FaZe and Liquid. You can see Dream for You goes out in the blue. And now NIP looking. They were protecting their backs for a while, NIP, but I think they're starting to look to get involved as Nuki will fall.
Ooh,
FaZe. That's going to be Winstrike out to Team Liquid.
FaZe onto Liquid here. This could be the big one. Things haven't been going right with FaZe so far. It's time to shine. I want the frags. But they've got a lot of work to do. Jempty, he's getting hammered from several different angles. But I like the fact that Samty and Ibi have repositioned.
It's a beautiful death. It's got him. We just heard from him in that video a moment ago in the previous match. I tell you what, this little play from Digital Athletics to get this spot seems to have worked out great. He sees Mexi going into the smoke. Can't finish him off, though. Trifili will go down. That's NIP taking control of the south side of the circle, leaving Mikas the only man standing. Ooh. There's the nade, and Mexi's finished.
It was a good nade, but the smokes are already up. Uber's there to maybe be able to get him back on his feet and continue the support. Beautiful Def's attention will be drawn to Liquid on his left-hand side, and now he might be able to just do FaZe a favour if he focuses fire on Liquid. He'll give FaZe a bit of respite. Mikas doing what he can as a solo. Next, that's 6 kills, 6 points in the bag, and he's trying to crawl into the top 10 here.
Yeah, something we kind of ignoring as well is the Jokers and G2. They're also clashing on the north side here, as Mikas will be finished. That's ENCE down in 9th place. Here's G2. You can see Kemba in the distance. He's really the nuisance play for G2 here. They want to try and make that push. You can see Tab and Senya just ahead of them, but they can't make that play while Kemba's still out there.
Look at the Vitality wall, just comes crashing into Power Grid. The question is, where is the remnants of the Knights and NIP? They might have to fight a battle on 2 fronts here. They're going to be split between 2 individual teams, and that's 4 points if you can confirm the bodies.
Yeah, it's Vitality and NIP that look to be clashing in that power station. They've made that play and moved forward. You can see Beats are sitting comfortable. Digital Athletics, look at that. They really want to get involved in the third party, and they're looking around for something, popping their heads around. Vard will find Shadow. Monkey also taking some hits from NIP as well, as MBS continues that spray down into the distance. Miraku's nade will find him, and he's going to get down. Digital Athletics, they're sweeping around the back of MBS right now. If they're not watching, they're not alert to what's going on, they're going to get caught in the back.
Just like that, Vitality might be getting removed. Jazza, last man standing. But the Knights, they're going to be open to this one, so that's fine. We can potentially get involved in all these fights and clean up the remnants of the players that's going to be left. Digital Athletics have disengaged from this battle, So it still comes down to a 3-way.
They're going for Liquid. They're turned towards Liquid. They know Ibiza's on that hillside still. They're going to try and find him. FaZe Clan also trying to get a couple of shots across. Senua will find Mexi. Mexi was back on his feet, but he's down and out again as Iroh makes the play, comes over, finds Ibiza. Samty down low. Will he be able to catch them out? FaZe is still taking shots actually onto Digital Athletics. They steal the kill away. Ibiza there. Look at Iroh. Spins and turns onto Uber and smashes a couple of bullets on his back.
Samu just looks and sees the bullets flying across his head and says, well, what can I do? I'm just going to sit here and pray for time. It's pushed Digital Athletics back. And they are together as a unit, and they've still got 4 up, so they're doing quite well. They have this ridgeline they can play off the back of. FaZe will be the next challenge they have to take. But again, having this ditch gives them some level of support. I'm
not sure. I think we can play is horrible for FaZe. They've got no way out of this.
Excuse me, no. Digital Athletics, they have this to play with, and they can hold FaZe at gunpoint, essentially. Don't get me wrong. FaZe has the circle, but Senya is using range, and he's on their left-hand side.
Now the power station play is going to be the real problem, isn't it? G2, they have to push into the back of the Jokers. Meanwhile, the Knights and Vitality, and I should say NIP, also need to all move, because Jazza is still alive for Vitality in the back line there. Here in the 7th circle. 22 alive, Mert being one that will fall, though, and that nade's going to instantly confirm it. No, it goes into the smoke. There's no one there. Beautiful Death takes a big old hit. Vard surely sees him. Tossing the nades out up close and personal. That will find him. Yeah, that's going to finish him off there.
Big arm, up and over.
Second NBS one finds it as well. They're down to 1.
Yep. NIP are pretty good with nades. They might be ninjas, but I'm not sure who can stand. They can still throw up.
G2, they've forced away. They've decided, okay, we can't fight the Jokers. We're going to go on towards the Knights, and Knights going to turn back towards them, try and see what they can do. Reels up close and personal by the rock side, gets a good couple of chunks onto Udyr. Udyr will be flushed out. Meanwhile, NIP going up the hill, chasing down Iroh as he tries to run away from this. Samty down in the distance. Look at him sneaking around the backside of FaZe. He's in the circle once again.
And that's all he has to do. As a lone wolf, you just got to play for placement, maybe get a frag as it comes your way before you die, at least pick up another point. Meanwhile, the Knights have turned up to the fight, but they might be getting caught off guard from the side here. Down goes one. That's going to be Kramer. Drayden instantly confirmed as well. 2 will fall, and just like that, I think the Knights unfortunately walked into a bit of a trap.
Yeah, NIP just smashed them. Real's still alive, watching his back. Vitality's got Voxic. Jazza will go down, so that's Vitality down at 6. Voxic still alive. There's going to join Reals as they try and move on this spot. Miraku now looking for something from FaZe Clan down low. The Jokers also looking for frags. We did miss G2, by the way. They went down in 8th place as well.
It would be big, but it would also be ballsy to try and get the res and those 2 players individually. Once the smoke goes up, you can guarantee the nades will be coming down from NIP. If they've got any left, they committed quite a lot, to be honest with you, up at power grid. A lot of utility has been used by these teams already. FaZe are now starting to extend. You know what will happen here? Guarantee it. One of the members from FaZe dies by Samu's gun. He's just lying in the grass. Oh, there's not even grass. It's sand more than anything, waiting for someone to walk by.
Well, we've said it once, we'll see it again.
He's going to get the res here.
Yeah, I was just thinking Reels has been allowed to get in here and get the res. He's going to go for Kramer first, so we'll get him back on his feet. Drayden's bleeding, but he's not too slow, not too fast. And that's actually going to give the Knights a big advantage. Any nades left? NIP, any nades? Are they waiting for this one? That comes
because of that fight earlier on, looking for Vitality. They got the frags, but now they're out of utility to confirm any of those players down in the ditch. You're not just going to go running blind into it if you don't have the smoke to back it up.
So we were talking about Jokers. Can they pick up their win? This may well be a big chance. The circle was kind of favourable to them and the Knights, we should say, because obviously this is their backyard. They start in and around the power station. NIP still holding steady. Samty just creeping on behind them as FaZe Clan take a couple of shots. Fuzzface down. That was Samty. You talked about it. Smash down Fuzzface. Somehow survives with 1 hit point, and the tab actually saves him and steals the kill.
1 HP in a dream. He'll have the meds to get back and get involved. Uber's getting quite aggressive, to be honest with you. He's going central and getting a decent play on them. Oh, that's because he lobbed a nade over onto the tab's head. Bangs him out and keeps them at bay.
So it's basically NIP and the Knights are going to fight, and FaZe and Joker's going to fight. And we'll see if there's any crossfire in between. Miraku down. Kramer finds one. Nades on top of the Jokers. I'm not too sure if the Jokers have too many nades left, by the way, because they've been involved in a clash with G2 for a long period of time. They do. There's one coming down, going over the top. Doesn't quite find the tab.
Just think if Kramer actually does all this damage.
The Knights are pushing.
He's been allowed to stay alive. Reals steps up as well. And basically this is coming off the back of Reals getting the res.
And this could be the winning move for the Knights here. If they can take control of the high ground, while that's happening, they do get an IP down. FaZe, I think, have just dealt a killing blow to the Jokers. They're going to move in and try and finish it off. Kemba, the last man standing for them. But now the Knights, they can just spin around and it's all downhill. FaZe are just going to get picked apart.
Voxic is getting aggressive and he's moving up into the middle to try and do some damage on all these players that are the walking wounded, to be honest with you. FaZe and the Jokers are completely broken.
While they got that knock, it's give the chance. They're trying to get Uber back on his feet. FaZe here. ENCE's the man that's trying to cover them off there. There's the smoke going down. Kramer's going looking for it. Voxic, they don't have the angle on him. They get him back up. Kemba's going for a big nade onto him. He's cooked the nade. It's gone to FaZe.
Ooh, it's rolling.
Close, but it rolled away, but it's not enough. Kramer finds FaZe. He was the distance man. Uber tries to make the run, and surely that's given the game to the Knights.
They get themselves back. 11 kills tanked up on the board, and it could be 15 if they go on a killing spree. Hey, 5 in the back for Kramer. He was allowed to stay alive. When he was down in the ditch, he steps up with the M24. ENCE says, should we bother giving it up? Now, let's have a crack at it. Why not? Looks for another one. Dinks him in the head. And now he is dead. The Pittsburgh Knights stick another win on the board. What a fantastic